Hello, and welcome to Super Mario Words, where we talk about random Mario things and rank them.
Yes, we do.
I am Sen.
And I'm Drew.
Today, we're going to be talking about stews.
That's right.
Not the soup. The enemy.
Yes, the enemies known as Strollin Stew, Svipin Stew, Smolderin Stew, and a couple other names which are maybe not canon.
Yeah, so these are kind of like the Goombas of Super Mario Sunshine.
Yes.
So in Super Mario Sunshine, Bowser's mysterious child changes into an evil Mario and uses a magic paintbrush to make toxic graffiti.
Yes.
If you are not familiar with Mario Sunshine, this probably sounds absolutely fucking wild. I swear this is the plot of a main series Mario game.
Well, they should play Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, they should. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Despite what the hypothetical unknown critics might say.
Critics.
So stews are a type of enemy which come from this graffiti in some kind of vague manner.
Yeah, they sometimes they jump out of it, sometimes they're just around, but the implication is that they are created by the magic paintbrush.
Yeah. Also today, with us today is the Super Mario Brothers Encyclopedia.
Yes.
The only source more canon than this podcast. No, that's not true. Our podcast is more canon.
Yes.
So let's move on to our discussion questions.
Yes.
So our first discussion question is pretty straightforward. What is this thing?
Yes. What is a stew?
Now I know that I said that it comes from goo, so you're like, this is just kind of a living goo creature.
Yeah. Little goo boy.
But that's a little bit weird, because most of the creatures that are coming from the goo are visibly gooey.
Yeah. Whereas stew is just kind of squishy.
It's just kind of a round boy.
Yeah.
Like the polluted piranha, which I think is a great design. It's just kind of a goo in the shape of a piranha plant that just kind of sprouts out of.
And it's all these 2002 era texture effects.
Yes, the best texture effects. They did not get any better than that.
Clearly.
So what do we think about, like, it looks like it is somehow kind of congealed, like sort of a custard. They're little custard boys.
They are. Well, okay. I feel like there is probably at least some kind of difference between the stews and these more texture-y bad guys.
Yeah, there seems to be some kind of different physical process.
Yes.
I wish I knew more about cooking terms, because there's a thing where, like, you turn a liquid into a gel.
Oh, like collagenating.
Yeah, probably.
I made that up. I just made that up.
I can't believe you'd tell just... Would someone really just go on the internet and tell lies?
Oh god.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Right?
I do.
I think that clearly what we're seeing is that the stews are that, and this somehow.
Yeah, it's not just that they're not just made out of magic paint. Some process has been formed on the magic paint, allowing it to coalesce in a more solid form.
Mm-hmm. I hate thinking about this, because no matter how you slice it, even though they look adorable, they must be disgusting. There's just no... Like, I'm pretty sure that they just, like, they splat when you step on them, I think.
Yeah.
I seem to recall that, and if I'd thought of that, I would have, like, verified that with a video first.
Oh, Lord.
So that I would know for sure what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure that they get squished flat. So they're not that stable. I almost think, like, they're maybe, like, held together by, like, some kind of pudding skin.
Yeah, they've got surface tension.
Yeah. Wait, no, hold on.
That's what that... I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Pudding skin is not surface tension.
Pudding skin has surface tension.
Well, I'm sure it does. But it's changed its form of matter.
It's like chemical.
Yeah, surface tension is, like, a liquid automatically has that.
We're both smart people, and yet we are so bad at words.
I mean, that's probably normal.
It is.
Do you think that the pudding skin theory is reasonable?
I think it is. I mean, they're seemingly solid, and yet they go squish.
Mm-hmm. It's reasonable and has the benefit of also kind of sounding really gross.
Yeah, which is always an advantage when you get into a podcast like ours.
It is the balance we're kind of trying to strike here.
Yeah. The Nickelodeon balance, I believe it's technically called.
All right. Yeah, I guess. So are we satisfied with that? Or do we want to move on to our next discussion question?
I think we want to keep going from here because I think there's going to be more crunchy things to get into in these next few questions.
All right. So the next question, I mentioned that these are kind of the Goombas of this game. And so a question remains to be asked, why are these here instead of Goombas?
Yes.
And so to kind of compare, there's a little bit of inconsistency in this between new and old enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So there are regular piranha plants out there. We have Monty moles. I'm pretty sure Koopas do appear. Let me see. We do have our big book. There are types of Koopas that appear in the game, Electro Koopas, which are kind of a new type of enemy, but they're the same species as old ones we've seen before.
they seem to be actual living beings.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these traditional boos, bombs.
And we do have familiar enemies that have become kind of goo-themed, like the polluted piranha.
Yeah.
The Piranhabon, which is just a rolling goo head in the shape of a piranha plant's head.
That's disturbing.
When I describe it, it does sound a little bit unwholesome. And so there's kind of it runs the gamut here, and you could have easily seen them just say, okay, these are Goombas, but they're made out of goo. In fact, they could have called them
Goobas.
Goobas. They already have, or they could have just called them Goombas with like a dash. or like something.
I'm just
like
imagining like Bowser Jr. explaining to his army that no, they're Goobas. You see, there's a hyphen. Shut up! You don't understand my genius.
There is some precedent for this.
Yes.
Of barely distinguishable Goomba variants because of Super Mario World's Galoomba.
Oh yeah.
Which I know you know about because it prominently features in an Unraveled episode.
Oh, yes.
So...
oh, God.
So they could have had a Goomba variant here, and instead what they have is very different, which I can briefly describe because I don't think we have. So Stroll and Stews are kind of ovular orange shapes.
Yeah.
They kind of have like a little whipped cream...
topping on them?
Yeah, sort of a texture of like a hair-like tuft.
Like a cowlick.
Yeah, like a whipped cream cowlick. And they're orange, and they've got these kind of watery-looking black eyes and big noses, and spotted red pants.
Yes.
Which we will get to that.
And little blue shoes.
And yeah, blue shoes or feet. And they don't look at all like Goombas.
No, not really. Other than them being small and round and you step on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they do have basically all the same properties.
Yeah.
In fact, there are games where Goombas stack on top of each other, which Stroll and Stews also do.
Yes.
The Super Mario Wiki calls these dongos when they have a big one and then a bunch of little ones standing on it.
Yes.
Whereas the Super Mario Encyclopedia still refers to them as Stroll and Stews. So there's some ambiguity as to whether they are a separate subtype or not.
Yes.
Which we haven't described all the subtypes.
No, we should get into that.
Do we want to get into that now or when it becomes more specifically relevant?
I guess when it becomes more specifically relevant because we need to hold off on the BDG reference for the right time.
Well, fair enough. Do you think that the inclusion of variants... Do you think that they had more creative freedom instead of trying to like adapt Goombas into different new types?
I mean, they've done that with Goombas before. There are winged Stroll and Stews and winged Goombas, you know?
That's true. But there's also... I'm trying to imagine a Goomba that steals your hat.
Yeah, that's true. That doesn't seem very Goomba-ish.
Maybe they just felt that the mix
was...
Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe they just...
I mean...
wanted to, try different designs. I mean, maybe the Goomba design just didn't gel with the gel.
It's true, and I think, out of character at least, Super Mario Sunshine has a pretty different aesthetic from most Mario games. Like, most Mario games are pretty colorful, but Super Mario Sunshine is saturated and tropical, and literally just has sunshine spilling all over the place.
Yeah, you can see that there's definitely an attempt to kind of vary up the aesthetic and introduce a lot of new unique enemies.
Yeah, and...
although... Sorry, what were you
Oh,
gonna
no,
say?
I was just going to say, it takes place on Isle Delfino. It has the Piantas, which are never seen before NPCs.
Yes, which I wish we had more visuals for this, but I'm not video editing good. So you'll just have to go without. But yeah, Piantas have kind of a neat design. You did raise an interesting point, which I'm considering this primarily from an out-of-universe perspective.
Right.
In-universe,
Yes.
like, why wouldn't the Goomba Core be coming with?
You know...
Actually,
Yes.
as soon as I say it, I realize must be Bowser Jr.'s army, right?
Yeah.
So he probably doesn't have the full complement of all of the enemies you normally see in...
Yeah,
Bowser's
he has
army.
some of them, you know, the Koopa Troopas and the Boos and such. But the thing is, I feel like the Goombas, especially among Bowser's army, are the kind of blue-collar ones. Just the kind of people who are in it for the benefits and the pay. And they aren't really going to super quickly follow this other guy who claims, you know, some kind of descent from Bowser himself.
You don't think they're gonna follow the boss's brat?
Yeah,
Is what you're
exactly.
saying?
I think they're too practical for that overall.
All right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense also because like he has to make a lot of his army out of this graffiti. You have to admit, when you actually get right down to it, Bowser Jr. is clearly a very hard worker. Like,
That is true. He does.
all of the graffiti had to have been deployed by him personally. It's everywhere.
Yeah, there's only one magic paintbrush.
Yeah. Very efficient, I think. It's actually not really clear how many of these enemies are made out of goo, because some of them like dissolve when killed.
That is true.
Some of them are definitely mechanical. The Monty moles appear to be actual moles.
Yeah.
PD Piranha actually does melt, which is kind of awesome. And a little messed up.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm wondering if having the book open is going to help us with our podcast or just distract us while we look at the pretty pictures.
Ooh, shiny.
Anyway, I think that we've explored this topic pretty well.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to the next...
I would love to move on to the next play.
Okay. So I was actually kind of disturbed by the presence of the pants.
Yes. All the suits, they're kind of like little Mickey Mouse pants.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, they're red, they have white spots. And most of the enemies that come from goo are not clothed.
Yes.
Because why would they be? However, see, this is where this is going to become an invaluable resource.
Yes.
PD Piranha is also wearing the pants.
Oh, they're similar pants.
They are similar pants.
That's
In fact,
fair.
PD Piranha, I feel like he has a lot in common with the Stroll and Stews. Like, he's kind of a dopey dumbass. He has the same pants.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking of Unraveled. It's like PD Piranha's in there due to pure nepotism. His dad took a bullet for Bowser in the war.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I definitely see that there's a connection because he's kind of like the
Yeah.
boss form.
You know, I wonder if both... Like, Petey Piranha is a fairly unique being, you know? Even separate from regular piranha plants.
Yeah.
And the stews are fairly unique. I wonder if these are signs of Bowser Jr.'s own artistic endeavors. Like, these are his OCs.
Oh man, do us steal.
Yes.
Um,
and the pants are one of his artistic trademarks.
Maybe. Briefly for the audience, so PD Piranha he's a piranha plant, so he has a big round head, red with white spots, big green lips, and the
Yeah.
teeth. And
But he has an anthro body?
yeah, he has kind of like a teardrop body with stumpy little legs and leaf arms that he can flap to fly. He also has petals around his head, so he's kind of like a flower and also a mouth plant. And he's like very uncoordinated and kind of dopey looking.
He's fun.
Yeah, he's not my favorite character. I think he's just kind of a little too dopey for my aesthetic.
I mean, that's fair.
My personal,
but not for Bowser Jr.'s.
Not at all. Let's see. So, I think that's a good theory that it's kind of based on. So for that to make sense, these clearly aren't just like natural permutations of how the graffiti works.
No.
But rather this pattern has been in some way imprinted onto the goo in order to produce it.
Yeah, and which makes sense. Like, for instance, when, you see the Stroll and Stews, a lot of the time they're coming out of some kind of seeming Stroll and Stew generator, you know?
Yeah.
And it can clearly just keep creating these, and so there's clearly a mold that can...
The operation of this magic paintbrush is starting to look kind of complex.
I mean, yeah. Which makes sense since it was designed by Professor Egad.
Yeah, the kid clearly has some technical aptitude. He's able to control this object. He at some point operates a Mecha Bowser. He might be something of kind of a technical wonderkind, really.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, very interesting. We're starting to see new parts of this character who isn't even the focus of the episode.
No,
that's how powerful our deductive skills are.
Yes. And how powerful our ability to create headcanons is.
Yeah, I mean...
By which I mean cannons.
They are cannons because they're canon.
Yes.
Do we have any other thoughts on the pants?
Well, the different stews have different colors of pants. That probably doesn't matter very much, but I did want to mention it. And they all have little white dots on them.
Yeah. Actually, the Smolderin stews have green dots on them.
Ah, okay, fair.
But... If they're being designed, then clearly they would be color coordinated.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. There's one more friend I want to pull up.
Okay.
Hold on. Can you hold this for me?
Oh, absolutely. We can cut this part out later.
Let's see. I mean, we can take the audience on a journey.
A journey into the depths of the Super Mario Wiki.
Yeah, so Bert the Bashful from Yoshi's Island.
Oh.
Who has similar pants that are pulled up like really high, like halfway up his body, which is also kind of the way that the stews have it.
Yeah, and is also like a stew in other ways. Big nose, very round.
Yeah, clearly this guy is kind of a template for the design.
Interesting.
Also, the way that Bert the Bashful is defeated is you hit his pants and they like fall down, and he gets embarrassed and deflates. Look,
wow,
the games are a little weird.
So we see the pants are mechanically relevant.
They are mechanically relevant pants. In fact, I think that there were probably some technical effects used in achieving the pants.
Yes,
because they kind of they like vary in their height. It's not a sprite. I think it actually uses a Super FX chip to generate the pants.
That is a great sentence.
I believe that's probably correct. I'd have to check that.
Yeah.
But I think that Bert the Bashful might actually be like a 3D shape or something.
Nice.
So yeah, Super FX generated pants. So clearly they need these pants.
Yes.
The stews would probably be embarrassed without their pants.
Yes, and maybe it's what helps keep them together, pudding skin wise.
Yes. Oh, I hate it when we say that phrase. It's delightful. All right. Well, I think that I have just like busted this whole pants thing wide open,
so to speak.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
To our next discussion question. So this is about a subspecies of stew called the Swipin stew.
Swipin stew.
Yeah. Swipin stew is a flying one.
Yes. Little insecty wings.
He's got green pants.
Yes.
And no feet. He's just got those are like dragonfly wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're similar to a species called Soren stew, which looks similar just with a different color palette.
Yeah. Right.
Except Swipin stews, if they collide with Mario, they steal his hat.
Yes.
And they grow a mustache when they have stolen his hat. Now, Mario is in a very sunny place.
Yes.
And so without his hat, he starts to get sunstroke, and He slowly takes damage as long as he doesn't have his hat on.
Yes.
I don't think I knew that was the reasoning for why he took damage.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just kind of assumed he needs his hat to live.
I mean, that's very Mario.
It is. So the discussion question is, why are these Swipe and Stew so obsessed with Mario's hat?
Well, the obvious place to go here, an enemy gets Mario's hat on and spontaneously grows Mario's mustache.
Right.
That is very reminiscent of Cappy from Super Mario Odyssey.
That's true. The difference between Cappy and Mario's regular hat is that his regular hat can't steal your soul.
Yes. Cappy allows Mario to mind control people.
Again, for those not familiar with the series, this isn't the joke part.
No, this is literally the main mechanic of Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, it's delightful.
You can use your hat to control Goombas and whatever.
If you weren't there when the trailers were coming out, it was the best. Oh boy, it was so much fun seeing everyone react to Mario steal souls.
I mean, I think we always suspected.
So what do you think is the connection between?
Well, okay. Mario... So, obviously, Mario is not controlling the Swipe and Stew in this instance. Clearly. And yet, the thing is, for Cappy to work the way he does, some of Mario's Mario-ness must already be in the hat.
Do you think so?
I think so.
All right.
Like, for the rest of it to kind of just jump in there so easily and transfer into somebody else's body via the hat, you know? The hat must already be, to some extent, a conduit. And well, this... Oh, sorry.
Cappy replaces his hat in the game. So clearly the pattern of the hat carries an imprint of... It's like... The replication of like one piece of the Mario is his hat.
Yes, exactly.
So it is kind of a it's a mimetic symbol.
Yes.
That carries Mario's essence.
That carries the symbol of Mario. And I think the thing is, as we know, all of the stews are products of the magic paintbrush. They are inherently temporary and, in a sense, fictional beings.
Yeah.
And I think Swipe and Stew, on some level, realizes that and yearns to be more real.
I have an alternate take.
Yes.
They are fictional.
Yes.
But they are fictional constructs of a specific person.
Ooh, that's true. Bowser Jr.
Yes. And they clearly have a deeply rooted need to grow a mustache. And I think that this specific enemy represents Bowser Jr.'s complicated relationship with masculinity. As a child who has been pushed into this very difficult role at a very young age.
You could say that I think we've actually said before that Bowser is, in a sense, an expression of toxic masculinity with the way he's always kidnapping a princess and
that's very good.
Doing military invasions, you know?
Yeah, so clearly, I mean, Bowser Jr. has big shoes to fill.
Exactly.
Literally, they're quite large shoes. Actually, he doesn't wear shoes, but if he did, they would...
Quite a large shell to fill.
He would die without that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you get the beating,
yeah.
I'm sure.
So I think that in that sense, their need to possess Mario's mustache and express... It is kind of the symbolic jump from boyhood to manhood.
It is.
By stealing a hat.
Yes.
Well,
in many cultures, that's a regular rite of passage, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
I know which ones they are, too.
Yes, and therefore we don't need to say.
Anyway, are we satisfied with the answer to that question?
Yes. That's a very satisfying answer.
All right. Then let's move on. We have another subtype of stew. Subspecies of stew.
Smoldering stew.
Yes. Smoldering stew is a stew that is on fire.
He's
He's red and there's a flame coming out of him.
Yes, out of that little whipped cream
Yeah.
topper.
And the reason there's a flame coming out of him is, I think that they're made of the lava goo
Yeah.
that starts appearing in some of the later levels.
Yep.
Um,
And the thing is, if you put out the flame, they die.
well, they actually don't die,
Oh, okay.
but they become vulnerable.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
They turn brown. So you thought they actually just were killed by it.
Yeah, I was... The way the wiki entry is worded is a little...
I believe that they do not immediately die,
Okay.
but they're safe to step on when they're not on fire.
Yes, which is generally true of things.
Of a lot of things,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, not all things that aren't on fire are safe to step on, but I'd say
That's
all
true.
things that are on fire are not safe to step on.
Agreed.
Yes. So you do want to douse them with water.
Yes.
So our question is, does smoldering stew need to be on fire to live?
Well, of course, the immediate question that brings up is Smoldering Stew alive in the first place?
I don't know if we have the chops to answer that question.
I don't think we have time to fully discuss the ontology of stew.
Let's assume that by alive we mean it has
It can kill Mario.
it can move and walk around. I know that there's like a specific word for that.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to like move around and
Ambulatory.
Well-
That one's a real word.
yeah, but if you can't walk, you're not dead.
That's true.
But we'll just assume for the sake of argument that while it's up and moving around, it lives.
Yes.
So we have clarified it doesn't immediately die.
No.
However, I think
However.
I think if something is born on fire, not being on fire would probably be bad for its long-term health.
Yeah.
We have confirmed, canonically,
Canonically.
that they are held together by a pudding skin,
Yes.
which means yes.
Oh, as you know, there are some puddings, especially in Britain, that you set on fire.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd do that. Seems like a
It's-
waste. But
Well, it's flavor.
how does the fire actually factor into the recipe? Like, does it?
I think you cover it in alcohol.
Is
or
it just
it's-
for show?
I'm not sure if it's just for show or if it does the fire does something chemical processy that does give some flavor.
Okay.
Yeah. Hard. I don't know.
So if they're on fire and they're being held together, clearly the different material they're made of
Yes.
is designed to have a skin that withstands the temperatures, right?
Yes.
A regular Stroll stew would probably melt.
Yes.
Therefore, if it lost its fire, I think that the drastic change in temperature over the long term would probably cause its outer layer to become too stiff, and it would probably just kind of freeze. I think that it would kind of crust over and become immobile.
That makes sense and is horrifying.
Yeah, and that would probably kill it, I think.
Yeah, or as close as we get with whatever this is.
Yeah. So I mean, I pretty much answered it for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
anything
Smoldering
else?
Stew does need to be on fire.
Yeah.
To live.
Any other thoughts on that one?
So that would imply that the lava paint is itself a little different.
Yes, it definitely. I mean, that makes sense. It is one of few that has like radically different properties. There are different colors, but most of them kind of function the same.
Yeah.
Do you think that there are definitely there are chemical reactions that generate heat? Obviously,
That's true.
So it's possible that there's some kind of combination of chemicals that causes a continuous reaction in it.
I mean, supported by magic to make it really continuous.
True.
Yeah. But yeah.
We don't know how long it would take if it can burn out, or if it would just be like that forever if it was left undisturbed.
That's true. I mean, we don't spend that long in the levels.
Yeah. So I think it's up in the air if it would burn out eventually.
Yeah.
But
It is meant to be at least a longer term effect than you'd think.
Yeah, although piantas can be pretty thoroughly covered in this stuff and it doesn't hurt them, which is a little weird.
Well, it does hurt Mario.
It does hurt Mario quite a bit, which I think leads us to the conclusion that piantas are fireproof.
That makes sense. I mean, they do live on this, maybe volcanic island.
Yeah. Piantas, when they are completely covered in goop, they appear to like sink into the ground.
Interesting.
We do see that happen with other things. In one level, the goop causes a whole hotel to just kind of sink underground.
Yeah.
The properties of this goo are very interesting.
Ah, man. Well, clearly, what we have here, as we mentioned before, is something that links back to the paintings from Mario 64 and a couple other games.
That's true. We did establish that the portal functionality is closely related to how the graffiti works.
Yes, so it's possible that, the Piantas and the hotel and everything are just being drawn into this a more nebulous other space, It's not as well defined as the paintings. But...
So this is kind of a similar effect as Mario getting trapped in a painting.
Exactly.
So it's a mobile painting trap.
Yes.
Which is a thing.
It sure is.
Yeah. So...
But that gets us off the topic of the stews.
Yes. So I think that we can see that definitely the chemical properties of the lava have a big influence on how smoldering stew functions.
Yes.
In respect to a Strollin stew. If its flame is not self-sustaining, I guess ultimately it would burn out anyway.
That's true.
It's doomed from birth.
Tragic.
I think that's called being mortal, and most living things are that.
Well,
it probably doesn't live as long.
Yeah. I think that's called being mortal.
Yeah. So Smoldering stews, mortal. Strollin stews, unconfirmed, might be immortal.
Fair.
Yeah. Being on fire shortens your lifespan.
A valuable PSA.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that addresses everything.
I think
there.
it does.
We're getting near the end of the episode, so I think it's time for us to do the rankings.
Rank the stews.
Yeah, let's open up. My rankings are not up to date.
Oh boy,
which is unfortunate. Did we rate Bunt above Flood?
We did, yeah.
All right, let me put that in. Okay. Okay.
Very good.
Okay, so let's start near the middle.
Yeah.
Stews.
Mm-hmm.
Above or below Charge and Check?
I think below.
Okay.
I think I think they're cute, but they don't have as much personality as a Charge and Check.
I find that a lot of the enemy designs, as much as I like Sunshine, I feel like the design trend that a lot of its enemies go towards doesn't have like as much charisma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like kind of dopey, very rounded, very kind of goofy looking designs that don't
Vaguer,
as
blobbier.
Much. Yeah, very blobby. It's not quite as much my thing. Honestly, I like the design of Bert the Bashful more.
Oh yeah.
The
Yoshi games have great designs.
Yeah. So overall, I'd say Stroll and Stews are kind of a less good Goomba.
Yeah.
But we don't have Goombas on the list yet.
Yes.
But
we know we'll put them above Strollins too.
Yeah. So above or below Shy Guys?
Now this is an interesting one because Stews and Shy Guys occupy a similar niche,
Yeah.
As Shy Guys do to Goombas, really.
Yes. Shy Guys are a little bit more complex.
Yes.
They have arms, which is...
That is true.
They have more mystery.
Yeah.
I think I'd put them above Stews.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Stews not as defined or as elegant a design as the Shy Guys.
Yeah. They don't have quite as clear of a place in the Mario ecology.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because they are ultimately temporary beings.
That is true.
And unlike some other stuff which we have seen, like we see Piantas, we see some stuff in later games. Stews I don't think ever made an appearance outside of these games. I believe that they are Sunshine exclusive.
Oh man. Considering how many Mario games there have been, that's a thing.
Yeah, and despite the fact that they are kind of the common enemy, I don't know if I would consider them like the iconic enemy of Sunshine.
Fair. Yeah, nope, they've only showed up in that game. Their name appears in a couple of the golf games.
If I had to really pick an iconic enemy from this game, honestly, even though pollution piranhas don't appear a lot, they do appear kind of at pivotal early points in the game and make a big impression. Cataquacks made later appearances, and they're
oh yeah,
weird and cute looking.
That is true.
So I think that stews kind of have fallen by the wayside a little bit,
Yeah.
even though they are kind of the common foot soldier of the game.
I mean, I would like seeing them come back, but yeah, not at the level of Shy Guys, definitely.
So I think I'd be comfortable actually putting them at the bottom.
At the bottom, below Maskate?
Yep.
All right, I think that I'm okay with that.
Okay. We have our new bottom,
Yeah.
which I feel pretty confident in that determination. So I think that we've closed the book on stews, and we have closed the book I have in my hands physically. So
All right.
I guess that's all for now. We will see you next time.
See you then.
All right.